Hello, my name is Cody Daly. I've been married about 9 years and I have 5 kids. I live outside of Missoula in a little town called Lolo, and Fresh Daily Smoothies is a food truck idea born from my own struggles of eating healthy and overcoming the obstacles of a busy life. I eat healthy to alleviate hormone imbalances and their physical symptoms on my body, and through this I've done a lot of research on human-tested and peer-reviewed studies that show I'm not alone in this. Almost 100% of America is deficient in many key nutrients. Many of these people show physical symptoms, and most of these people know that eating better would help them. The main problems are that eating healthy isn't easy for many reasons. I developed smoothies to overcome these issues, and many people are stuck in the rut because eating healthy isn't convenient, it doesn't fit in their schedule, or it doesn't fit in their budget. I believe a food truck that serves smoothies can solve this for many people and make them a fresh-made product that will help them physically. A food truck is a better medium for health food because breakfast is a severely underserved market and yet is so vital to eating healthy. The low overhead will allow a focus on technology, which will boost marketing, help customers locate the truck, offer prepayment and subscribe and save services to save money or extra time. And I also bring a wealth of knowledge and experience from working over 12 years in food service myself, along with all of the research that I've done. And this has allowed me to develop a menu to combat symptoms directly, things such as weight issues, fatigue, muscle pains, and many more. I can combine all this knowledge into a platform of online educational material for things like eating, exercise, lifestyle habits, and other cooking and eating advice that will gain many barriers of entry for future competitors, which is something I'll talk about a little bit later also. So why is this a good opportunity? Well, because there's very little competitors. Depending on the region, there are no competitors. There's showing huge industry growth for smoothies and juices, and there's a huge profit margin in the product, as well as just a market of people that are severely underserved. This target market is people that are moderately health aware, that they need to be doing better than they are, but yet too busy for whatever reasons to really fix where they're at. These are career age people with spendable income, and the major focus, though, of my target market for the business will be people that show the symptoms of eating poorly, since that's what the menu is based on. What the menu will look like it will be about 6 to 8 smoothies. There will be no ice, no powders, no mixes, all real foods, some frozen to keep it cool, that give you real food flavor, sort of like drinking a salad, if you will. But using professional blenders, they will be a smooth, rich texture. They'll be made fresh, not pre-made and frozen. It retains its nutrients much better that way. But they're all proportionally balanced with the right calories and fiber and different nutrients based on symptoms to completely replace a meal. And this creates a very satisfying and unique experience, especially being that when someone is deficient in certain nutrients, they have very specific cravings. And so the flavor combinations from real foods that contain the nutrients that are that someone's deficient in creates a satisfaction unlike any other food product. Now, how do I know that this will work in my area? It's because I have already developed a YouTube video that I used to interview 7 people and explain the problems and solutions that I see in the health food market. And this is what I found. The top issue for people really is price. But a close second is the portability and the ease of eating the healthy foods. These things can be combated directly with smoothies. And what I really learned out of these interviews was that originally I thought people with families would be the more hectic schedules that the target market would cater to, but single people with hectic schedules, of which Missoula is plentiful, will actually play a very important role in early adoption. These people already have expendable income that they are spending on junk foods, and in my interviews I found they would spend the most on initial commitments. And the other thing I learned really is that technology is underutilized in the market and is something very valuable to the customer that they would like to see used more. Now, the prices I'm able to offer are $4 for a 16 ounce, $5 for a 24 ounce, and this is what I interviewed people with, and the average of my interviews said they would consume at this price 3 times per week. Most of them because they are already spending this somewhere else and would happily switch to something that benefits their body more. Now, who am I competing against? Well, I want to emphasize that there's no real competitors in this area because of the unique recipes that I've made and the structure of the drink itself. But there are going to be perceived competitors in the smoothie and juice market. There are 3 places in Missoula called Green Source, Loose Caboose, and Orange Julius that all serve a smoothie product. None are really comparable to mine, and that is where the education media will differentiate me from these direct competitors more and more as I create that content. But there is a large indirect competition through national brands like Naked Juice, and there's many other store-bought alternatives and powder mixes for people to make their own smoothies, and many things of that nature, trying to make it easier for people to do themselves. But really, my main competition is going to be anyone with the time and gumption to really put the effort into making a quality smoothie themselves. And so hopefully my educational material will also sway them eventually that my price and ease of buying from someone else will persuade them. So I've calculated a potential market in my area of just over 18,000, and that's because our research says 26% of Americans consume smoothies regularly, and Missoula has a population of 70,000. Simple math tells me 18,200. Now, there's also, as of last year, about 14% of this market is serviced in a restaurant format. So my other alternatives are about 86% of the market, kind of cutting that down even farther. But with the frequency that I've gathered from my interviews at 3 times per week, and a gross margin that I've calculated based on smoothies that I already make of about 56%, and that's fairly conservative. I have it between 55 and 65% gross margin. I've constructed a cash flow out of that. And the cash flow is exciting to me because it actually shows net positive in the very first year of operation. And that is pretty rare for the food industry. And what I see here with a food, the demand actually constituted running the numbers for 2 food trucks that would operate simultaneously with 2 employees, and the return on investment would be at about 15 months. The net present value would be about $2 million, and the break-even would be just under 100 units per day, split between 2 trucks over 4 or 5 hours of breakfast time, 50 units per food truck, when the estimated real demand out of these numbers will be almost triple that. So the cash flow is very exciting numbers for me. Now, there are some critical values that, if they change, could make the model less profitable, but these are very, very extreme. Now, the other alternatives would have to climb from 86% to 97%. The competitors would have to climb from 4 to 19, or the frequency would have to come down from 3 times a week to once a week. And this shows me that this is a very durable business model, that the net present value actually stays positive through very adverse situations. And as of 2015, the market growth was 34% and projected to keep growing. I'm very confident that none of these critical values will ever be reached. And keeping in mind that net present value stays positive with 2 food trucks at those critical values, retaining much more flexibility to the adversity of the market. The attractiveness of this market, I believe, also allows for a lot of adaptability within the business model, to be able to create so many barriers of entry for other competitors and continue to differentiate this model from others while operating is a very huge strength. And with what I bring in my research and food service experience and my dabbling in a little bit of entrepreneurship myself, I'm very confident and I'm very excited about this idea. All of my primary testing has returned very positive feasibilities, and that this food truck that serves such a need will positively benefit the community and will have very high adoption rates. So I hope that you also see this and that it excites you as well, and I thank you for your time.